Midday in the Queen City, business is booming. We've got numbers from P&G. Also, the cleanup is on, and it's costing us. And we have a big announcement about the future of a historic theater. Let's do lunch. Cincinnati is a city that means business. Fortune 500 company HQs, renowned institutions like Children's Hospital and the Cincinnati Zoo, and letters that everyone here knows: TQL, GE, CVG, UC, and X. It's also a city that's large enough for new ideas to take root and grow. You know somebody who knows somebody who knows somebody, and you're in business. I'm Jack Crumley, and this is The Working Lunch. Hello, welcome to The Working Lunch. I'm Jack Crumley. This is our hour-long business show here on The Crown, where we bring you headlines about the activities of local companies. We bring you exclusive interviews with business owners and CEOs, and we try to squeeze in a bite to eat, maybe something to drink before you go back and face the afternoon. Thanks for watching with us here on this Wednesday. Cincinnati business headlines presented by First State Bank. Built on belief and committed to doing right by our communities, First State Bank offers checking, savings, and mortgage services all from your phone. They believe in this community and they believe in you. Visit FSB4me.com. That's First State Bank, member FDIC, and equal housing lender. We got Procter & Gamble's quarterly earnings report in this morning, and going over that information, some mixed results. One of the big issues was some lower demand, and that leading to weaker sales. This morning's report comes as P&G is in the midst of a restructuring that is expected to terminate thousands of jobs within the company by about this time next year. Today's report was for the fourth quarter of the fiscal year that started on July 1st. So we're going to get fiscal year numbers as well. $16 billion profit on $87 billion in sales, although fourth quarter results were disappointing. They did not meet estimates. Newly named CEO Shailesh Jejurikar put out a statement saying that he believes things will get better in 2027. During P&G's full fiscal year 26, the company reported volume growth in just one quarter. Like many other companies, it has seen demand weaken as people have become more concerned about overall affordability, the cost of things, opting to buy store brand products instead of name brand, or just trying to stretch their shampoos and laundry detergents. For the fiscal fourth quarter, P&G's beauty division was tops in the company, 3% volume growth. Fabric and home care, things like Tide and Swiffer, the only other segment to see volume growth in the quarter. Now, those job cuts that the company is in the midst of right now could likely have the biggest impact here, where the P&G HQ is. But it must not be all doom and gloom, though. Procter & Gamble did make a separate announcement this morning that CEO Jejurikar is now also going to be the chairman of the board, starting this Saturday. Another groundbreaking today. Pigworks is the non-profit behind the Flying Pig Marathon, and construction is now getting underway on its new building in East Walnut Hills. The Pigworks Coughlin campus not only going to be home to the offices of Pigworks, but also a meeting place for runners, for the community, and for activities that are expected to energize the neighborhood. That's what it will look like once it's built, and of course when the sun hits it just right. And also, Cincinnati's new downtown Fidelity Hotel is now open. This is a really beautiful space on 6th and Main in the Gwynn building, the old P&G headquarters, coincidentally enough. 165 rooms, including 17 suites and more. That's all now available after an $81 million renovation conducted largely by out-of-town owners and developers. We do have some pictures now coming from the hotel's Instagram. Just beautiful stuff going on there. I personally am a really big fan of the 21C Hotel, but This looks like another really nice option for people who are looking to stay in the city. And it's part of a lot of attention that downtown has been seeing recently between you got the new convention center and, of course, the new convention center hotel there that is under construction right now. Stories that we've had lately about historic buildings getting state money for renovations to turn into more apartments in the heart of the city, not to mention the Brent Spence Corridor project and more recent talk of new construction at the banks, possible caps on Fort Washington Way. We are, I believe, at the start of another very transformative time in the city. We're watching it all unfold right now. That brings us to Jack's Big Bite. That's where we focus on one particular story happening in the community, a community we believe in with our partners at First State Bank. Stop into one of their local branches or visit online at fsb4me.com to access all the helpful tools and services at First State Bank, built on belief and committed to doing right by our communities. For today's Big Bite, presented by First State Bank, we are taking a look at another thing that is bringing change to this region and the cost of it. Severe weather, specifically after the recent flooding from heavy rain that we've seen locally. Let me take you back just 12 days. You got that wipe? So we certainly saw a lot of this footage going back the last couple weeks. Amy Ketchum on TikTok with that compilation of multiple flood videos, specifically taken Friday, July 17th, when really heavy rain just dumped on this area late in the afternoon. That rain was particularly felt on the east side of the city of Cincinnati. All the places that the National Weather Service confirmed had flash flooding has been mapped out now by weather experts and surveyors in the days since that rain. There's a map of areas that specifically by the National Weather Service had significant flooding amounts. Rainfall amounts that day were 4 to 5 inches, anecdotally more than that. And that much rain all came down in just a couple of hours. That's usually how much rain that we see over the entire month of July, 4 to 5 inches. And it hit during the afternoon rush on a Friday. So traffic on much of Cincinnati's east side was slowed to a crawl. You were probably affected by it one way or another, whether you were driving on a flooded regular surface street or on the highway right there. You see I-71 with that big puddle. The flooding was pretty widespread, and so was the variety of damage and responses that were needed to that weather. Cincinnati Fire says one person died by electrocution in Fairfax in that Friday flooding. 3 other people suffered other injuries, all related to the water. CFD received about 200 emergency calls for help, and over 3 dozen civilian rescues were performed in that storm. And then there was the damage to property. Lots of overland flooding, as you can imagine. That would be water collecting around sloped yards or water coming in from a recessed driveway. But we also got an update on that just yesterday from the Metropolitan Sewer District. Director telling county commissioners about calls for sewer flooding. That would be water coming up, not just coming in. Now, I would say take a look at this, but it's really more of a take a listen situation. We've been working around the clock really since the 17th. We had about 1,860 claims as of yesterday. I'm sorry, not claims, calls to our system. So these are reports of a sewer backup. We have completed nearly all of them. I think we were down to under 50 yesterday. And we had authorized, of those 1,860, we had authorized 940 for cleaning. So, a little, about 50%. And the properties that are not authorized, this gets back to what are we seeing and why are we saying they're not eligible for the sewer backup program. Typically, what we're seeing is that their property was solely impacted by overland flooding, water's getting into their home. We have a lot of properties in our area that, have recessed drives. They're on it, they're sitting in an area where the entire area was flooded. If we did see any signs of surcharge along with that overland flooding,
even if most of the damage or most of the impact was from the flooding, they would qualify. So we had to, really have information that indicated that the sewers weren't surcharged if you were not approved for cleaning. So we have been, letting customers know that, and they can call if they have not heard if they were eligible for cleaning. But if they have not heard from us, then they, likely were not approved for our program, and then they will not be eligible to file a claim either.
So it might have been a little bit tough to see that on the screen, but MSD has taken over 1,800 calls for sewer backups, and about half of those so far have been authorized for actual sewer overflow cleaning. The sewer backup program budget for this year is just over $8 million. About $3.5 million was spent up until those most recent storms. I want to zoom out on that kind of storm disaster just a little bit. We've got other data from the National Weather Service. From 1980 until 2024, the state of Ohio saw just over 100 weather disasters that cost $1 billion each. Severe storms with the vast majority of those events in Ohio, though that's really more about wind damage to property than just pure flooding from rainfall. It's a similar situation I looked up for Kentucky's history going back to the 80s as well. 92 total billion-dollar disasters for the bluegrass. And again, most of that from severe storms. If we zoom out even further to nationwide data, just over 400 disasters that have cost $1 billion each in the U.S. going back to the year 1980. Total cost $2.9 trillion. In 2024, the U.S. saw 27 confirmed weather disasters, losses exceeding $1 billion each. One of them was a drought, one of them was a flood, one of them was a wildfire. There were 2 winter storms that year, 5 tropical cyclones, and 17 severe storms. It is worth noting that that info from the National Weather Service only goes until 2024. That's the most recent report we can get. There is a banner at the top of that website saying that because of evolving priorities, mandates, and staffing, it has stopped updating that database in early 2025. $17 billion severe storms, and I want to be clear how I'm saying that. There are $17 billion severe storms are notable as a new report that came out in just the last few days. This is from firststreet.org, conducting their 19th risk assessment, saying that severe storms just last year caused more insurance payouts than hurricanes or other extreme weather. Severe storms are now, as of last year, the most costly insured natural disaster in the world. In 2025, severe storms accounted for 1/3 of global natural disaster economic losses, according to First Street. Insured and uninsured losses from them totaled $82 billion. That's worldwide, $68 billion of that in just the U.S. alone. Back here locally, MSD Director Diana Christie told Hamilton County Commissioners at that meeting yesterday that she expects her department is going to need more money to respond to all the sewer backup reports from these most recent storms. That $8 million budget isn't going to be enough for this year. Now, reporting in the Inquirer about this topic just a couple of days ago points to a presentation that MSD made to commissioners back in April of this year. That's the front page of that report right there, with some guidance on how to deal with flooding that we're seeing from heavy rain events, saying that to focus on large impervious area properties like concrete parking lots is one of the main goals. Also to focus on where the impact is greatest, as a small number of large properties are what's contributing to significant stormwater to the combined sewer system. Replacing that system, which dates back to the late 1800s, is an extremely expensive idea and pretty unlikely. But we do know that what is likely is that we're going to see more rain coming again. And that rain could be backing up more drains and draining more bank accounts. Things to plan for, things to be ready for. That's your big bite for now. Coming up after the break, we are less than 2 months away from this year's Sindependent Film Festival, and Executive Director Allison West joins us with info about that and some big news about the Marymount Theater. You're watching The Working Lunch on The Crown. Stick around.
Our beliefs matter. They're reflected in our words and actions. At First State Bank, we believe in treating people well, and have since 1884. Listening, caring, looking out for each other. It's what people deserve. It's what a real local bank does. While lots of things have changed over the years, our belief in you hasn't. First State Bank, built on belief.
This city has always had something to prove. While the rest of the country talked about us, we built our own voice. Blue collar, underdogs, built differently, overlooked, talked about like we were supposed to stay quiet. But that was never who we were, because this city doesn't wait for permission. And neither do we. And now, for the first time, Cincinnati has a network built in its image, because the biggest stories in this city deserve more than highlights. This isn't cable television. This isn't national media. This is ours. This is the Crown.
The Crown has you covered. Start your day with the first word. Cincinnati's only morning sports show. Power through midday with the working lunch. Cincinnati business talk that keeps you in the know. Nat tries that for lifestyle around the city. And the Rebound Rundown covers every corner of the college basketball scene in the tri-state and beyond. This is The Crown. Built for Cincinnati. First word for your morning sports. The working lunch for business that hits home. Nat tries that for lifestyle around the city. And Rebound Rundown for college hoops. This city deserves its crown. Watch, listen, subscribe.
My name is Jack Crumley. I've been covering news in Cincinnati on the radio for the last 20 years. I grew up in Northeast Ohio, but Cincinnati has always felt like home since day one. I've seen so many things accomplished here, and now, with the working lunch, I get to write, read, and talk about them every day. Hard-working people with a drive and a dream. Innovative ideas that help shape this city. Cincinnati is a great city, and I'm excited to tell you about it every day. Welcome back to the Working Lunch. I'm Jack Crumley. I am joined now by Allison West, who is the founder and executive director of Cindependent, known at times as Cindependent Film Festival, and certainly that is coming up here in a couple of weeks. But you have been very busy ever since it was announced that Cindependent was going to be stewarding the future of the historic Marymount Theater.
Yeah.
How's everything going?
Oh, man. So we actually have a huge announcement to make today.
This has been a process that's been going on for a while as far as fundraising goes.
Yeah, so we really started fundraising for the Marymount Theater on January 29th of this year. Today is July 29th, so approximately 7 months later, right? Mm-hmm. And today, I'm really so happy to announce that we have actually surpassed the fundraising goal we set out to reopen the theater. We have closed what we consider our phase one campaign at $1,083,000 and some change. And I mean, this is such a huge undertaking, and the amount of support that we've received from the community to reopen this building has been truly exceptional. It's been truly spectacular watching hundreds of people step forward to help us get this building back open and running.
Yeah, I have seen firsthand the work that you have done putting into running the festival, but also the plans that have been made to get this theater back going again. So congratulations on the work that you have done to raise this money. What does this mean now for the theater? What is the plan going forward?
You know, the funny thing is that this has been all we've been talking about this year, is trying to get this theater open. And I can't stress enough how when we stepped in to keep the lights on at the theater, we really did not know what condition the theater was going to be in when we got in there. We didn't have a signed lease in this space until mid-March. So as we were fundraising for this entity, we were learning about it, we were building it, we were repairing it, we were having to build systems around what would become a sustainable future for this space. The fundraising that has gotten us to this point has gotten us there, but this is actually what I consider the beginning. You know, I have been spending a lot of time fundraising and building strategy and talking to the community, but really the work that we do is about filling spaces with stories. Not even just stories that happen on a screen, but the stories that happen in the room. Those are the things that make these moments special and make them worth investing in and worth being a part of. It is worth my time to work on something like this because of what it does for a community.
Okay, so filling spaces, I think the big question that everybody's going to have now that the announcement is, hey, we've raised the money, we need to reopen. When will there be people filling the space at that theater?
This is the first time I've been happy about somebody asking this question. I've been really reluctant to make promises that I can't deliver on.
Sure.
And since we've achieved this goal, what we're able to do now is start hiring people. So we're currently in the process of hiring people to come work back at the Marymount Theater. This is administrative staff and also cinema hosts and hostesses in the space. I'm targeting a soft opening at the end of August. And as we continue to just refine a couple of logistics on when people will be here and ready to work, that date will become more and more and more crystal clear. So a soft late August target is really what we're hitting right now.
And do the soft opening for a little bit and then some kind of grand opening after that.
Yeah. You know, again, I have been witness to hundreds of people basically pulling out the best versions of themselves to make this theater open again. And so we're planning a grand reopening celebration in mid-September. I think it's likely that it will align perfectly alongside this Independent Film Festival, but this will be a moment for us to celebrate community and bring people together around what we have done here.
I wanted to ask you about the fundraising that you've been doing specifically. And, you know, we've had a lot of other nonprofits on the show and folks that tell us about what their fundraising situation is and how much involvement that businesses in this area have with the nonprofit scene. That's a big part of what we do here on the show. From your perspective, raising money for this theater, has it been about corporate donors or organizations or grassroots individual giving?
Yeah. I do want to clarify, Independent runs 4 different programs. The Independent Film Festival is separate than Marymount Theater, is separate than Cindenex, is separate than our fiscal sponsorship. And each one of these programs has really specific revenue and expense budgets that kind of determine how they grow. Marymount Theater, interestingly, is a community-based fundraising initiative. We have not had large philanthropic support from the business community for Marymount Theater. The film festival, though, does tend to attract that kind of marketing and advertising spend. Marymount Theater has had a lot of support from foundations. Greater Cincinnati Foundation stepped up, ArtsWave stepped up. A number of really big private foundations and private family foundations have come forward. This effort was a combination of leadership gifts, one-time donations that were received via online or physically being handed a check or something arriving in the mail, and then a grassroots campaign that really spanned kind of a new membership that we have, where people could support this at a $60 level annually, all the way up to a $5,000 level.
This is that Friends of the Marymount Theater program.
Yeah, Friends of the Marymount Theater is a way for anybody who loves movie magic in Cincinnati to help ensure that it stays a really permanent fixture of our culture here. Movies have the power to change people. They have the power to teach. They have the power to illuminate. They have the power to inspire. And allow people to dream. People who believe in that can help support that by joining Friends of the Marymount Theater. And because this is a starting line for us, it is still up to all of us to fill this space, the Marymount Theater, with moments that matter. We all are responsible for making sure that the inside of this building stays as vibrant as the outside.
So you've been working to raise money specifically to get the theater back open, which should be happening soon. But in terms of the work that you've done to reach out to people, and you've said that there's been some organizational help, a lot of grassroots support, Friends of the Marymount Theater. What other people have come on to help you with this effort? Because I don't think you've just been doing it by yourself.
I completely agree. I have not been doing this by myself. Sindependent is governed by a board. There's a 10-person board, and then there's an advisory and development group that have been working on this. Some of these people are philanthropists who live in Marymount. Some of them are art supporters. Some of them came to us through our partnership, our film festival partnership with LAD. These are people who are highly motivated, organized, civic-minded, philanthropic visionaries who have been introducing me to their friends, making connections in the community, allowing Sindependent to walk through doors that therefore help us talk about what we see is needed in this space, both in this phase and the phases to come. There has been a group of probably 15 to 20 highly motivated individuals around the Sindependent Center, which I may be standing straight in, that have been constantly talking to me, in touch, chatting about this, and helping me problem solve along the entire way.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I've been involved with this organization from jump. It's very important to me. It's something that I'm so happy to see get going, and I'm really glad to hear that you've got this announcement about the theater coming back. What has the response been that you've seen talking to people in the community? You said you were happy to get the question this time about when is the theater going to open, which probably means you've been asked it a lot.
Yeah, this has really been a pressure cooker for us. You know, people want this theater open so fast. But it is an expensive operation to mount, and it has been something that we've had to be very thoughtful and careful about. We've been lucky to fundraise at the same time we've been building operations with an operations team. And what I've found is that the response to the community is deeply emotional and passionate about what needs to go there. As I start talking about what I believe Sindependent can fuel into the space, people are receiving it with arms wide open.
So now that the money's there and you've got plans to open the theater soon, what is it like for you being the head of an organization now that's running a theater, the logistics of running a movie theater operation?
It's a lot of fun, and it's a lot of collaboration. We're really, really, really lucky to work with two particular gentlemen who ran this building for a number of years. One of them for 27 years, Ken Monahan, the other Jack Hoffpower for the last 5 years. These people have lent their expertise to helping us rebuild the infrastructure and get us set up for the future. I can look at this from an outsider's perspective, look at making really meaningful tweaks to our business model that I think over time will really allow this theater to become a sustainable entity.
Yeah, how has this been different now, planning for running a movie theater versus planning for putting on a film festival every year?
The film festival, which we started in 2018, has been really kind of like a practice ground for this kind of work. You know, I've had a full-time job for a number of years and ran a major cultural event in this city. I've touched lots of different pieces of this process in a lot of ways. We have met this moment so beautifully. Our team has just been ready for all the different questions that needed to come to us. We have the infrastructure, we have the knowledge, we have the expertise to meet this moment and start to grow it. I'm excited about what this will become year-round for our team operationally, and excited to see the contributions we give to the city just exist year-round.
Yeah, so speaking of year-round stuff, in terms of what you're looking to do with the theater, I mean, another big question that I'm sure you've been getting from people in Marymount and in the city in general, what kind of movies are you looking to show?
I love this so much, and anybody who really wants to get into this should talk to Johnny Shank, our curation director. Johnny is currently planning a lineup for a late August reopening, where 4 of the 5 houses there will feature first-run films, new films to market in the film experience. Some of these are indie films. Of course, we span like independent, documentary, family films, heavy hitters, all kinds of films, everything that people are used to seeing there, but a little bit more curated and dialed in. He also is planning in our 5th event house a series of films that kind of celebrate the theater's beginning. The theater opened in 1938. Johnny's planning a run of films that all are from 1938 to really kind of harken back to the time when it opened.
Yeah, I mean, and you were talking too about, the state of the place on the inside. The idea that this is a building that's 100 years old. There's been a lot of physical work done inside too. A lot of volunteers. We've had pictures in the past of folks putting the chairs back together.
Yeah, this space needs a little bit of love. It really does. And then phase 2 of our work is thoughtful planning for renovations in the future. I'm confident that if we can improve the interior experience, it will lend itself to a stronger business model. And so as we move from phase 1 into kind of right now reopening operations heavy, I'd say the fall is when we'll start planning for phase 2, which is to look at how do we thoughtfully restore the inside while reshaping it a bit for a better guest experience.
So there we go. The big news that coming out of the show here today. It's a Working Lunch exclusive. Independent has raised enough money to begin the plans to reopen the historic Marymount Theater, raising more than $1 million over several months. Congratulations to you. It's fantastic work.
Thank you.
We're going to take a break. We've got more with Allison West because the Independent Film Festival is coming up in September. Details on that and more coming up. You're watching The Working Lunch on The Crown.
Okay, who are you?
Well, you have a First State Bank checking account, so you'll be getting cash back whenever you use it.
Oh,
Open a checking account at First State Bank for cash back. First State Bank, built on belief.
how did you get in here?
What is The Crown? It's simple, really. Authentic Cincinnati entertainment. Not hot takes from a studio 3 states away. Not national noise pretending to know this city. Rather, bringing a voice to those who call the Queen City home. Where can I watch The Crown shows? Join us live from 7 to 11 a.m. for First Word and 12 to 1 for the Working Lunch on RESN. No live TV? No problem. Stream and interact with all of our content on major podcast, broadcast, and streaming platforms. The Crown is Cincinnati. Loud, passionate, competitive, proud. From early morning sports debates to the business leaders shaping the riverfront, to the fans, stories, moments, and culture that make this place move. Live shows, podcasts, documentaries, digital content built from Cincinnati, for Cincinnati. This is The Crown.
Hi, my name is Natalie Jones. Just your typical 40-year-old Cincinnati girl. Although, no, I'm not married or divorced. I don't have any kids, and I don't live in the neighborhood I grew up in, which is the West Side, by the way. But what I do have is a lot of freaking time, and I've been using it well. So come along with me on this grand adventure, because I've been trying all the new around town that you need to know about. This is Nat Tries That.
Hey, I'm Marissa Contapelli, one of the co-hosts on First Word and a features producer here on The Crown, where I will be out and about in Cincinnati bringing you the stories that you need to hear in the Queen City. Now, I know I'm from Cleveland, but I love my Cincy sports. I've been in Cincinnati for almost a decade now, spending the last 8 seasons with the Bengals as a team reporter and senior producer. I am so excited to be a part of the team here at The Crown, and I can't wait to bring you the latest from around the city.
Cool. Ooh. Let's go.
Welcome back to the Working Lunch. That is a taste from the Marymount Theater Bice Independent social media page of you guys with staff in the theater testing out the new equipment that has been delivered, because the big announcement you have is that Independent has now raised the $1 million needed to get these theaters back open. And part of that money was to order projectors and speakers and everything.
Yeah, I'd say close to $500,000 of this was just to re-outfit the entire cinema. The first was like a $461,000 chunk. Then there's kind of like some AV stuff that happens in the space, and then there's all the concession equipment that needs to go too.
Did you think that you'd ever be talking about having $460,000 to deal with or need to raise or anything like that?
I mean, I've always had, high ideas about what kind of business and work I do with my life, but I had no idea that it would be on a cinema. We were not looking to open a cinema. We were not looking to launch a cinema. I just couldn't let anything bad happen to this space, period. Yeah. And I'm happy. I like learning new things. Like, what is life for except to explore and be curious about what's out there?
So that's the Marymount Theater. That's the announcement from Independent today. But the other thing that's coming up is in September 16th, 17th, 18th, 19th, and 20th is the 2026 Independent Film Festival, which is coming up soon. And there's the poster for this year's festival. The announcement for the movies that are going to be in this year's festival is this Saturday.
That's right. There's so much Independent in the world. Independence Day is August 1st. It is a members-only event for Friends of the Marymount Theater, people who support our nonprofit, Independent, that operates the theater and also the film festival, where we are going to announce, I think that there are 113 titles coming to Cincinnati. These are from filmmakers and storytellers that are local, national, and international who are traveling to Cincinnati to share their work with us this year at the Independent Film Festival, presented with LAD, actually, a new festival merger for us this year.
That's right, because Independent merged with the OTR Film Festival, and that's produced by LAD,
correct,
which stands for Living Arrangements for the Developmentally Disabled.
Correct.
How has that merger been going now, and making plans for this new, bigger festival while you've been raising money for the theater?
I think it is low-key bonkers that this merged festival is rolling out at the exact same time as the theater. I don't know what rom-com I'm in that somebody wrote it this way. It is just kind of the way the timeline has fallen, and that's perfectly fine. The combined merged festival is a bigger festival, but it actually feels really familiar to me because we have been working with LAD and Over the Rhine International Film Festival for some time. There's really kind of a nice exchange of resources where LAD has been providing developmental support for the funding of the film festival, and Independent has been able to bring kind of our indie expertise or our organizational capacity around how to actually execute an event like this and think thoughtfully about things we do and change to make it more inclusive for all of the community.
Yeah, the idea of disabled people being a focus for LAD, now that's been sort of folded into Independent's overall programming message?
Well, for the film festival, we never had the capacity, education, or resources to provide ASL interpreters for our parties or events. I have never done audio descriptions for films. We're looking at festival captioning, which actually is incredibly new for the industry to provide caption-assisted devices at a film festival in that environment. I think we have a lot to learn, and this is certainly year one, so I'm happy about seeing what we can accomplish with LAD's expertise in this realm, and then what we can continue to build forward for Cincinnati in a way that this art form can be shared broadly in the community.
So, festival coming up in September. What are, other than the movies, what are some of the other program elements for this year's festival?
The funny thing is that filmmakers have like touch points all over the industry, right? So we actually have a series that's a screenplay salon, a speakeasy, if you will, where we bring in 6 actors who kind of perform cold reads of contemporary screenplays.
This is my favorite thing.
From screenwriters. It's so much fun. We have films that run all day long, but because the artists are in town, we actually lean on them and do this really beautiful kind of chatty conversation series where we focus on certain artists and their projects, and they can talk intimately about why they did this or why this was the time or how they did it. And so we kind of get to pick apart the entrepreneurial spirit behind making some of these independent films happen. We have a masterclass series that runs where we get to talk to local industry professionals about their jobs and how they do them and kind of do some more skills-based work. And then we have an entire family-friendly and student track that is Send a Lab, where kids can get their hands on equipment, or we do critical thinking screenings where we talk to young people about how to think critically about what they're watching and how to consider it.
In terms of, you were naming some different people that are going to be talking about the movies they were making. Are there like any names that you're looking to share yet that people would recognize?
Well, we're really lucky that we do organically attract sometimes some celebrities into the festival. We're currently working on some of those premier guests, but I'm really pleased to share that Sindependent has an alumni named Jack Piat, who earlier this year in 2026 won an Oscar for his short film that he produced, The Singers. And so Jack calls Sindependent his home festival. He's from Ohio, and he's coming back to be participating in our work at the Marymount Theater, to do a class on his road to the Oscars, to meet and greet with our alumni, and to be available for our community because he loves Cincinnati and he loves what we're doing here with Sindependent.
Yeah, it's being a tourism event also because you've got filmmakers that are from here that you're highlighting their work, but it's not just local people. You're getting folks from other states, other countries to submit work and then come to the festival.
Yeah, we do take international submissions, and we are programming and playing up to international submissions. I don't think there's anything higher than that. It's not like we can be an intergalactic film festival or anything. We do focus on our local artists who are succeeding in their careers. We do have people from all over the United States who submit and travel to Cincinnati to be a part of this. And then we do have international attendees as well. One of them is filmmaker Louisa Connolly Burnham, who we had 2 years ago, I think, is coming back to Cincinnati with her new film, The Intimacy Coordinator.
Oh, it's a good title.
Oh, yeah, I know. I'm very excited for everybody to see it.
Do you keep track of data as far as people attending and whether they're visiting here, whether they're locals that are coming to the festival?
Yes, we do. And year over year, we see kind of a larger regional growth. We right now are really strong in Louisville, Lexington, and then up north as far as Chicago. You know, we have been a really grassroots organization until this year. And the progress that we've made has been hard-earned and well-deserved. From the 35 people who volunteer to make this event happen annually, it's been very rewarding to see our metrics trick up and up and up and up and up year over year, especially coming out of COVID. You know, who could have guessed that film festivals would do great post-COVID?
Well, and it is a really impressive crew of people, and I know you're running on mostly volunteer work, which I think is tremendous, and it's sort of a constant ask. What have you learned now in your sort of career, going from being a filmmaker to being a producer for content at Kroger Studios for a number of years, and now as technically an employee of LAD, but running a film festival and being at the helm of a movie theater? What are some of the things that you've learned in those previous roles that are influencing what you're doing right now as far as decision making and leadership skills?
I think that every opportunity is a learning opportunity. I have learned to trust my guts, actually, is what I have learned. My career has taken paths that I didn't anticipate it would. I've stepped off a path, stepped back on a path, gone down a different path, followed someone here. I think trusting my guts along the way has kind of allowed me to have a North Star about what it is I'm doing and what my place in the grand scheme of the world is. From a business perspective, I have a wide range of deep knowledge that is serving this moment particularly. And at the end of the day, I think being a great leader and a great boss or a great collaborator is understanding that the person who's right in front of you is honestly the most important person in the world at that moment. So I constantly am trying to reassess how I spend my time and prioritizing what has the most value for me and for the moment to really get the maximum impact on whatever my goal is at any given point.
What other planning still going on, or are things pretty well locked now for the festival coming up?
This is the point. The festival right now is in the point where we are like 90% of the way done on all decision making. We were able to bring in a seasonal operations director for the festival, and this person is just constantly calling me saying, I think that you have the answer to this, but I haven't seen it down on paper yet. So it's really about pulling the systems together so that we can start communicating internally to our team how we execute these things. We're able to start pulling the pieces together, start organizing the graphics, organizing the filmmaker bags, building the plans, the schedules, and then on Independence Day is when we will first release all of the film and screenplay titles and the masterclass titles that are going to be at this year's event, alongside information about them, posters, log lines, director info, and when they'll play. So people, starting August 1st at really 9:30 p.m. Eastern, you will be able to look at a program of the Independent Film Festival presented with LAD and learn what your journey will be with us this year.
So the announcement for the movies that are going to be at the festival is this Saturday. That is Independence Day.
Yeah.
And then Independent Film Festival presented by LAD is September 16th, 17th, 18th, 19th, and 20th at beautiful Memorial Hall just right over here.
And this year, we're doing an opening day and a closing day at the Marymount Theater.
Oh, that makes sense because that's the other big announcement now that there will be an opening of that theater really soon. Details on independentfilmfest.org, MarymountTheater.org. Allison West, thanks very much for coming on the show.
Thank you.
We are going to take a break. More Working Lunch coming up after this. You're watching The Working Lunch on The Crown.
Our beliefs matter. They're reflected in our words and actions. At First State Bank, we believe in treating people well and have since 1884. Listening, caring, looking out for each other. It's what people deserve. It's what a real local bank does. While lots of things have changed over the years, our belief in you hasn't. First State Bank, built on belief.
We welcome you from the Queen City. A Friday night in the Queen City of Cincinnati, Ohio.
We welcome you from Cincinnati, Ohio.
Nick had with the fan favorite to put it away. Touchdown, Cincinnati. Oh, what a catch. Cincinnati can't score. Dalvin Cook scores and the Reds win.
Cincinnati sports fans are the best. Loyal, passionate, second to none. This city lives and breathes sports, and now it finally has a morning show to match. I'm James Rapine, and this is First Word, the only morning sports show in Cincinnati and the place where every day starts. We break down the biggest moments and set the agenda for the city. Marissa Contepelli and Jacob Tissett join me to bring the insight and energy you need to start your day. The conversation starts with First Word. First Word, weekdays 7 to 11, part of the Crown Network.
This is the Rebound Rundown. I'm your host, Paul Fritchner. Your home for college basketball in the Cincinnati area and across the country every Monday through Friday during the season. Previews, recaps, breakdowns, interviews, and more. You can find it all right here. Your one-stop shop for a quick dose of college hoops on your morning commute. Make sure to subscribe on YouTube and wherever you get your podcasts.
Hi, my name is Natalie Jones, a Cincinnati native, and I have been in media for about 10 years now. Formerly on the radio here in Cincinnati, I grew my love and obsession with finding all things fun in Cincinnati and have now made it my life. I'm originally from the West Side here, and then I've pretty much been a downtown girl ever since college. But I did leave for 7 years, and during that time, I really grew and harnessed and cut my teeth doing stand-up comedy in Los Angeles, learning how to ski in Colorado, and now I'm back here in Cincinnati, driven by curiosity and grounded by family.
Welcome back to the Working Lunch. I'm Jack Crumley. Want to give you one other update I've been keeping track of and waiting for a time when we can compile a bit of information on it. This is big business here as far as the proposed merger that's been going on. It's in the works, nothing official on it yet. Lots of regulatory levers that still need to get pulled. But this is the proposed merger between Paramount Skydance and Warner Brothers Discovery. I like that little combo picture right there of the WB water tower and the Paramount logo being put on the water tower. This is a huge deal. This is a merger that's valued at $111 billion. There are lots of questions that have been raised about the effect that this big business merger would have on programming for TV and for movies, the effect on consumers as well. Right now, the proposed merger is on hold. There's some legal action going on that. These are big multinational companies, though. Let me run down some of the things that are all going to be under one roof if this merger goes through. On the Paramount side, you've got Paramount Pictures, CBS, the national network, MTV, Nickelodeon, Comedy Central, Showtime, all these things, along with Paramount Plus, the streaming service. On the Warner Brothers Discovery side, you've got CNN, TBS, TNT, HBO, Cartoon Network, the streaming service HBO Max, along with the Discovery Plus streaming service. It's a ton of people. It's a ton of money. And again, this is a $111 billion merger. But again, we are also talking about multinational corporations here. So The Guardian in the UK put up a recent op-ed that was written by actors from the UK, Benedict Cumberbatch, Alan Cumming, and Benedict Wong. They wrote this open letter telling people in the UK that they should do something now to stop the merger. They're calling it a calamity. Quote, as actors and public figures who have spent our careers in the arts in Britain, we have a responsibility to the public who support, enjoy, and consume the art we make. The British Secretary of State for Digital Culture, Media, and Sport is also getting involved. She says that she's got a lot of questions about it. That's all on the UK side. Here in the U.S., there's some legal issues going on as well. The largest union in Hollywood, SAG-AFTRA, has now publicly come out that it's opposed to the merger. That union says it's going to oppose the deal unless enforceable safeguards are put in place against a drop in productions from the combined company. That is one of the big concerns with this deal. Job cuts, fewer things being made. There are also political concerns when it comes to news content on stations like CNN, but this is a business show and we really are focusing on the business of it. Now, lawyers for Paramount and even CEO David Ellison, who we had on the screen just there, have made the case that this merger is going to be good for viewers, promises that Warner's and Paramount are going to operate as separate studios, putting out at least 30 movies a year. Ellison sent a memo to staff this week reassuring people that he's confident that the merger will happen. There have been a number of antitrust suits filed by various states, so the deal is on hold right now, but the CEO of Paramount believes it is going to happen. The promises of things being good for the industry and good for movie making is a promise that I find difficult to believe. Look up the U.S. Supreme Court's Paramount decrees from 1948 as a similar situation to what we're seeing now with different big studios and vertical integration on them, making a thing that's shown in a thing that they own. There was a big Supreme Court ruling that broke all that up. We're kind of there again. This Paramount merger with Warner Brothers, I think, is a step in the wrong direction when it comes to things that are good for the consumer, things that are good for workers in that industry. We will see how it all shakes out. That's my 2 cents on that. Hey, I would like to thank my guest, Allison West of Sindependent, for coming on the show to give us the big update on the Marymount Theater. Enough money's been raised. There will be an opening announcement soon on that. Congratulations on all the work that was done there. And, of course, Sindependent Film Festival is coming up in mid-September. Tickets are available for that now. I would like to say stick around on The Crown. We've got all sorts of new programming and content that we are doing here coming up on the show. There's new, I believe, new Nat Tries that's out, and we had a Rebound Rundown that released this week already. These are the different ways that you can watch the show. And, of course, the First Word crew back at it tomorrow morning, 7 a.m. As we get into Bengals training camp. This is a huge time for the First Word crew. In terms of talking about the upcoming football season, a lot of expectations on the Cincinnati Bengals this year. We'll be back again tomorrow with more Working Lunch right here at noon. I'd like to thank you for watching. If you do have a business that you want to let me know about, some activities, something new that you're starting, let me know about it. My email is jack@cincycrown.com, or reach out to us on socials. We're all over the place online. You can check out the show, cincycrown.com. Thanks for watching. We'll be back tomorrow.